Welcome everyone to another exciting episode of Expert Connect. I'm Debbie Barnett, and today we have a very special guest who has taken the mahjong world by storm. She's not only an inspiring instructor, but also the creative genius behind Mah Jong Line. With her vibrant graphics and passion for teaching, she's become an Instagram sensation, helping countless players on their mahjong journeys. Today, we are thrilled to introduce you to Molly Hardy, the woman whose beautiful smile and vibrant posts have been spreading the joy of mahjong far and wide. Molly, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Well, thanks for having me. This is so fun. What a fun way to spend my Sunday.
Yeah, well, we're so excited to have you. I've been looking so forward to this. And I know that we're going to have people coming in and joining as we already get started. But I wanted to let everybody know who's already here that at the end of the interview, we're going to open it up to Q&A. So if you have any questions and you don't want to forget them, you could put them in chat. If you're watching from Zoom, take your chat window and pop it out and move it somewhere so that you can just put your thoughts in there. And if you're watching from YouTube, you guys know the drill. So I'll be watching both of my monitors and get to hopefully everybody's questions at the end of the interview. So we're going to go ahead and get started, Molly. And my first question always starts with somebody's mahjong journey. I want to know about your mahjong journey and how did you become Mahjong Molly, which I just adore.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you for to my mother for naming me Molly. It has worked well with the Mahjong Molly name. But I learned how to play mahjong about 5-6 years ago. I have 3 children, and when my oldest, I have a daughter, was starting a new school, a mom named Erin invited us to learn from women from her temple. So these women from her temple came and taught a bunch of moms this game called mahjong, and I had heard of it, but I had no knowledge of play. So we learned, and my background is I am a teacher. I used to teach elementary school. And so while I was learning and being taught, I remember vividly loving it. I loved the numbers. I loved the puzzle feeling. But I did feel at times as a student overwhelmed with the information. And so my group and I, we would just meet once a month. We were horrible. We just we pushed through, we played. We had, we still joke about it, like every game was a wall game because no one knew what they were doing and it would be over and no one would have won. And we still play today. We played a couple weeks ago, and we just we knew that there was something special about coming and playing this game and catching up at the same time. So that's how I started my mahjong journey.
Oh, that is so super. Okay, one of the things I have to say, you've definitely got something going on with the colorful, beautiful graphics that you create.
Thank you.
And they just they're very attractive. So, I mean, when I see them, they make me stop and look. What was the inspiration behind those beautiful colors?
Well, thank you. If you were to come to my house, it's a lot of color. I'm sitting in like a raspberry colored chair. I love color. And kind of back to my education, early childhood foundation, making things for kids that would pop, that would really draw your attention, engage the viewer. And so when I started the graphics, where I started was with my logo, which says mahjong, and it's in pink and blue and orange. My friend Kate, who's a graphic designer, actually designed it for me. I said, I want color, I want clear and crisp, because the game itself is already a little bit confusing. So I like clear color for the graphics to keep that part of it simple.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. It really does. And they're just beautiful, honestly.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay, now let's talk about your Instagram presence. You
Yes.
have gained so much recognition. I need to talk to you about that privately. Literally, you have grown and exploded on the Instagram community, in the Instagram community. How did you initially decide to use Instagram as a platform for your mahjong content?
So I played for a long time before I started teaching. And when I first started teaching, I taught, family and friends. And then I decided, I could actually do this. My sister, my husband kind of encouraged me, like, why don't you kind of see where this goes? And then what I really liked about that first full year of teaching, it was just word of mouth, which felt very organic to me. I didn't have the Instagram. I didn't do the social media. I just loved somebody would email or text me, you taught my sister, you taught my neighbor, come teach us. And so it kind of wove itself naturally into this, call it Rolodex of people that I've met and I've loved. And then I wanted the Instagram because I saw what that can do for small businesses. And I kind of dipped my toe in. I thought, let me have fun with it. Let's kind of see how it goes. I really committed. Instagram wants you to put content out there. That's what that program wants you to do. They want you to do graphics. They want you to talk to the camera, which feels like I'm a crazy nut when I'm talking to the camera about using a joker. But I realized that the more I just kind of put myself out there, other people appreciated it. I started engaging with followers, and right place, right time for sure, as far as when I started that. And then I really wanted to stick the Instagram to being an educational platform, asking me questions. And you can do that on Instagram. There's a little box that says, ask me a question. And that's when people can say, when should I call? Or what line do you love this year? And that is a really dynamic way of growing the business, is that engagement. And that's what Instagram has allowed me to do. I have people in Florida, California, New York, Maine, Nebraska, and I live in Dallas, Texas. And that is kind of the way I have grown it, is through the connection and just having fun with it, and trying not to take it too seriously.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely doing something right, because you have a boatload of followers. Yeah, I need to talk to you and get a little bit more insight into your, secrets.
I'll give you my tips.
Oh my goodness. Just very impressive. And it's not easy to do.
No, it's not.
So
I think you just have to kind of you have to be willing to just put yourself out there. And I do some silly things, with funny music. And I think mahjong is a serious game. Like when I play, I enjoy focusing if it's in a tournament or serious setting. And so it's kind of like, why not have a little fun with it, be a little playful? It's serious enough as it is.
Yeah, and you're so natural on the camera. I just can't believe it. You really are. I'm like, I gotta try being a little bit more like Molly.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's really great. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Thank
All
you.
right, so you love the Mah Jong Line tiles. They are pretty. I mean, you have to admit, color is what they're all about, right?
Yes.
Tell us more about the Mah Jong Line tiles and how the tiles influenced your teaching style and maybe even graphics.
Yeah. So the Mah Jong Line is a Dallas-based company, 2 women, Kate and Annie, kind of launched on the scene late 2020. And their tiles are larger and really bright and colorful, with lots of variety as far as what is printed on the face. And they kind of they blasted in Dallas. Everybody really has taken to loving these tiles. They're bright, they're fun. And so, yes, when I'm making a graphic and I'm using their like pretty blue set, then some of my graphics are going to pull those kind of colors up, and it kind of helps link it together. And, the feedback I get on those tiles are they're very easy to read. The bamboo is actually little pieces of bamboo, etc. And They're about to, in October, release a line called the Classic line, which I think a lot of players who grew up playing on more traditional tiles, like I did, like that's how I learned. That was my first set. They've kind of circled back and really have produced this new line that's going to be really beautiful, and they're fun. They stay on I have a little card table in the corner, and my bright pink ones just stay there because it's more color in my house.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing their classic tiles.
Yeah.
That's going to be really cool.
Yes.
Because they are a little challenging, especially if you're a newer player.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yes, I do. Yeah. And I'll speak to that. I think that, there's a line called the Cheeky line and Botanical, and some of those graphics are a little like, oof, but like what I tell all my students is, there's going to be tiles made for the next, hopefully forever. And more about, as a student, okay, you're sitting at a friend's house and their set is very different. Well, get kind of accustomed to it. What does the bird bam look like? Show me the dragons, show me a couple jokers, and then you just dive in. And I think it keeps your brain fresh when you switch from different sets. I'm even like, ooh, okay, my brain is getting a little boost, which is good for all of us.
Yeah, I remember the first time playing with them, and I was so nervous that I was going to miss something. Being an experienced player and then having that feeling that, oh my God, am I going to like have something in the wrong place or not know which dragon goes with what? But once you played with them for a little bit,
yes,
you get used to them like anything else.
Yes,
How much bigger are they, Molly, than a regular tile?
That's a good question. I did a side-by-side picture on my Instagram one time. Pretty significantly. I mean, let's say a regular tile is this big. Their tiles are probably like that big.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. They're easy for hands to grab. I've noticed that maybe people with arthritis, in hands, I've noticed that it's a little bit easier for them to pick those up, and the colors are good for eyes who might be struggling to kind of see those images too. So, and my kids love them. They're fun. They look like little candies.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, definitely look like little candies, but we don't, well, they're too big probably to worry about. Your kid, your youngest one. Yeah, but you don't want them in your mouth regardless. No. All right, so I do watch, what you do, because obviously, I see your beautiful posts and everything. And I know that you have mentioned teaching in corporate settings, and I've seen some of your posts about that. What's the response been by, businesses, professionals in those settings? And have you found that Mah Jongg benefits them in any way?
So I kind of started the corporate teaching last summer. I thought my summer was going to be kind of mild, but some law firms got a hold of my name, and law firms have summer associates, and they want to provide a fun experience in their law firm for these summer associates. And they want the CEO to sit next to these other people. And so Mah Jongg is actually a great kind of segue that any level at the law firm, the bank, the real estate office can sit together and play this game. And when I do those events, I really make sure I say, this is a very brief intro to the game. This is me just kind of dangling the carrot. I hope after our session today, you want to take more lessons. And I kind of joke, I say, no, after today, no one's going to be walking out of here signing up for a Mah Jongg tournament, but you will know, these things, and you will have a good, fun experience that is, social as well as, stimulating the brain. And a lot of those corporate offices, as you can imagine, those people are like, they're on it, and they pick up so fast because their mind is already geared to those numbers and picking up on stuff like that. So I've really enjoyed the corporate side of this job, which was unexpected, but fun.
So you mentioned that it's like dangling a carrot. So you're not going to be teaching them a lot at one time, because my next question was, what kind of techniques have you developed to actually teach a large, round table or rectangular table of mahjong wannabes.
Yeah,
How,
right.
how do you do all that?
Yeah. Well, I start by really kind of like what I used to do with my lesson plans in the classrooms. These are our goals. This is what we will be learning, like a little teeny mini syllabus. This is what we will be learning. This is what you would learn in lesson 2. So today is just this. And I've dubbed it team teach. I team teach, meaning it's 2 people to 1 rack, and the feedback is always positive because you have somebody else when you're learning this game to bounce ideas off of, like, oh, do you think we should go to evens? And they might say, well, look at this in consecutive run. And that has really been a fun way to teach the game. And then I also, my business, I have teachers come and teach with me, like with contract work. So I have 3 adorable teachers who are fun and wonderful. And then when I do a big group like that, they come with me. So it feels like every student does get like that attention to the details.
Oh, that's really great.
Mhm.
That's really great. It sounds phenomenal. Yeah. And when you said, the summer, what did you say about the law firms? Their summer,
the summer associates.
Summer associates.
Yeah.
I mean, I never really thought about it, but a lot of corporations do things that incentivize their people to get healthier, or this is a way to stimulate your brain, right? So they do have a lot of things where they have challenges to eat healthier, and why not mahjong? I mean, it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, exactly. And their businesses, they want new clients. So sometimes I'll even be teaching, and they kind of advertise it as, hey, clients, bring a friend to learn mahjong. So then that friend is learning mahjong, but also learning about their business, and maybe will become a client of theirs. So it's kind of all connected.
Absolutely. That is so great. I mean, it's not the same as golf, but it's similar in a way, because look at all the connections that are made and how many clients are forged through the game of golf. So mahjong is just another way to do it. I think it's brilliant, Molly. I really do. Very impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So my next question is that you've actually become a very well-known figure in the mahjong community, and it really is remarkable how quickly you have become known. And we already talked about how you've done that, how you've gone about doing that. Do you have any key moments or strategies or things that really contributed to your success?
Yes. So I signed up for my first tournament in March of 2022. I went to New Orleans for Mardi Gras with Destination Mahjong.
Oh.
So I signed myself up because I thought, I want to be playing with women who have been playing 30, 40 plus years. And that's what I did. I arrived on Friday. We played Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, the real deal, meaning the timer is on, the scoring is happening, you're rotating seats. Yeah. And I really wanted to experience that. And I really wanted to learn from the women who have been passing down the game. And I think that's really important, is to acknowledge the generation, the wonderful generational link this game has by tapping into the older generation. Teach me everything. And I remember just sitting there, and I mean, I lost the first few games so fast. It was like, what, you just won? I don't even know what's happening. And the women they were so kind, and I could tell, like, okay, wow, like they're mastering the Charleston, they are memorizing every pass, like, wow, like these are real strategies. And so that was definitely a check. And then I hosted my own very casual tournament that same year. And, that felt very empowering. Like, okay, I can do this. I can kind of run a very small tournament. But I also realized the desire to do it. I mean, I sold out the whole thing in about 2 hours. I mean, every table was taken. So I think those types of things. And then just kind of along the way, I've decided that I want my teaching and my business to always be connected to the true American mahjong rules. And, you know, there's a lot of chit chat with house rules in Dallas and kind of with people my age, which I'm all for a house rule at your house. But when it comes to my teaching, I really enjoy just teaching like the black and white version, so that if you sit down with your great aunt, y'all are going to play the same game. There's not going to be a question about anything. It's going to be the true thing. So yeah, those are just kind of some key moments, I think, for me.
That's great. And if you do want to play in a tournament and take the dive like you did into playing in one, which is a great way to, like you said, you're watching how everybody knows what's going on, right? Things are moving pretty fast. You have got to learn to follow the rules, because they're even stricter than the rules, right? So they're kind of like the rules a little bit on steroids, some of them.
That's a great way to put it. And, you know, kind of what I tell my friends who love golf and tennis, if you're learning that sport, at some point you think, okay, I want to try a tournament, or I kind of want to step up and play with this really good player. It's the same thing. You get better by playing people who are better than you. And that's fun.
So how fast was your heart beating when you sat down to play your first game at Destination Mahjong?
It was racing, and this sweet woman named Penny was so nice to me. She just said, "Oh, you're going to do great." She had on a bejeweled mahjong t-shirt. I mean, I'll never forget Penny. She was so sweet. And then I sat next to this woman, Annette, who she was such just like a regular. She had her pillows, one for her seat, one for her back, because, you know, the chairs aren't comfortable.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I was a little nervous, but then I relaxed.
You calm down, right? You start to calm down a little bit when you realize, oh, just play even if you can't, keep up, you just want to just pick and discard, right? So you just want to move it along. You want to make sure you're not holding up the game. So I'll never forget my very first tournament. I needed to call tiles. I missed them. I was so nervous. Did you have that happen?
Yes, many times. And one time I put out an exposure and it didn't have anything to do with the line I was going for, but I just finished the game quietly and I needed 4 3-bams, but I put out 3 and just kind of pretended I meant to do that.
Yeah, exactly. We don't say anything. We just hush. The only time that it's a little uncomfortable is when you expose on a concealed hand and someone, that's another one of those great moments, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, let's go on to the next question, which is, do you have advice for individuals who want to make a name for themselves in a niche community like mahjong?
I think I've never been failed by just kind of following my internal gut feeling. That's what I tell my kids too. How does this feel? Does this, are you doing this and does it feel natural? Does it feel good? And like all my Instagram stuff, like I stand behind it, whether it's silly or serious. It's like, that's bringing me joy. I'm sticking to kind of my own thing, because in mahjong particularly, there are now on the Instagram world, new Instagram teachers all the time. And there's room for everybody. I think it's great. And I have a little thing on my Instagram to find teachers in your area. I'm very supportive. And so there's plenty of room. I think it's just kind of staying true to like what you want to be doing. I like the bright colors. I love the rules. I like when people, message me and say, you are the one who knows what's the answer to this question. And, and I'll reference my books and make sure I'm answering correctly. And, that brings me joy, just kind of sticking to what I know best.
Yeah, that's great advice. It really is. Yeah, staying true to what you believe. How does it feel? How does it feel to you? And if it feels good, you might as well take the plunge. You only live once. So that's how I look at it. Yeah. Well, you're definitely an out of the box thinker, and I love that. We definitely have that in common, for sure. All right, the next thing is about your new beginner guide. And I'm going to actually bring up a picture of it so we can talk about it, because I want to know what motivated you to write it.
Yeah.
what can readers expect to learn from it, and then you can go into talking about how people can pre-order the book, because I know you mentioned, I think, early October, so you can update us on that. So if you give me a moment, I'm going to pull that up. And hopefully I can find it easily without, well, let me find it before I pull it up.
Okay.
I usually keep it right on my screen, so I don't want to. All right. And now it should come up and show right. Hopefully here. All right. Everybody can see that. Give me a thumbs up, Shirley, if you can see the book. All righty. Cool. All right. Well, now how come, there we go. It took all my little tabs down below disappeared, thankfully. All right, Molly, tell us about this.
Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, so what motivated me, this has kind of been something that's maybe been brewing in my mind for, or not maybe, my first notes are dated a year ago on this. So call it a year in the making. I love the books that are on the market now. I look at them, I love them. I give props to those authors. I felt like there was just a sliver of a spot for a book with less text, images, and really clear reference points. I didn't want people to have to read through paragraphs to find the answer about the Charleston. I wanted it just to be right there. I wanted it to be a size that sits on the table, and and a pretty book, a book that I find joyful and bright and colorful. And I was lucky enough, the Mah Jong Line gave me permission to use their tiles. So I went ahead and used images from the Mah Jong Line. But no matter what tiles you have, there's something in there for everybody. And it is a quick reference for beginners. However, some feedback, I used it, and a woman said, I've been playing for a really long time. And what the book kind of helped us do with different experienced players, instead of saying, well, what do you think? Well, I don't know if that's right. It was just like, oh, wait, that is right. You actually you can do the Charleston once or twice. There's no in between. Yeah, that is right. Or, whatever the example is, or, oh, you can't use a joker in NEWS, which is a very common beginner mistake. And I've met players who still can't quite grasp that concept of if it's a different tile within the grouping. So it's on my website, and I took pre-orders. My printer, his name's Philip, and he told me that I should be able to pick them up Monday or Tuesday. So this is a new adventure for me, and then I'm gonna be shipping them. And I hope that I hope people enjoy it.
All right, so how do they pre-order it, Molly?
My website is Mah Jong Molly. Luckily that was not taken in the World Wide Web, mahjongmolly.com. And it's just called the quick guide, and the button is pre-order, and you pre-order, and soon I'll go to my website and change pre-order to just order once I have all the books in stock. And just pre-order just kind of helped me the past couple of weeks know how many I should order for my first order. That's hence the pre-order.
Yeah. And do you have any idea when it's expected to be out?
I'm hoping this week I get to pick it up.
Okay, great.
And now, then, in a dream world, I'm shipping these, this Friday.
Okay, the couple things that I like, and I don't have my hands on it yet, but I will soon, is the fact that it has a harder cover. It's not very, flimsy or won't bend easily, and the spiral bound idea. So when you open it up, it's going to lie flat.
Yeah. And I made the choice to do one-sided printing. So when you open it up, you just can bend it behind so that you can even just do that.
Oh,
yeah.
Very clever.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks.
that's very clever. And it's small enough so people can take it with them?
Yes.
Put it in their purse,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Or their Mah Jongg bag or whatever?
Yeah. Your tote bag, whatever. Yeah. A little stocking stuffer.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Oh, okay. I think you're going to have a lot of orders. I just have a feeling. Who wouldn't want that pretty book? I can't wait to see what's inside of it. Really. I'm so excited for you.
Thank
So I
you.
think you're going to do great, and congratulations on that, Molly.
Thank
That's
you.
wonderful. I know you've got probably some more to share with us, but that's the last question. All right, so let's get to the second from the last question. Any memorable stories or experiences that really stand out in your mind while you've been teaching?
Oh boy. Well, I shared with Debbie before we started, but something that has been really wonderful in my life is my daughter who's 10. She's in 5th grade. She plays, all my kids play. I have 3 kids. They're watching right now downstairs and eating dinner. Hi guys. She plays, all 3 of my kids play, but she this summer said, "Mom, can I have 4 girls from my school younger than me? Can they come over for, I think we did 3 or 4 days, and I want to teach them mahjong." And I said, "Yes." And so she taught these girls mahjong. I was in the kitchen kind of listening, but didn't need me. She was phenomenal. And that has been a really kind of outstanding thing in my life, that this is, something we can do together. And so that is something that is, I'm really enjoying that part of it. And then I think another thing would be, I really enjoy just all the different ages I teach. I enjoy sitting next to women and men of all ages. I think it really is neat to share just a common thing, when sometimes there's not that much in common between, myself and, I don't know, a 90-year-old, but mahjong can bring us together. I like that aspect.
And that is so true.
Mhm.
I mean, you could know nothing about another person, have nothing to talk about, but you sit down at the mahjong table and wow,
Yeah.
everything changes.
And then a student of mine, her name's Stacy. I saw her last week. She came up to me, she gave me a hug, and she said, "You changed my life. You changed my life. You taught me this game." And she says that her husband and her friends just think she's a little bit more joyful. And she says mahjong brings her joy. And I'm like, that's wonderful. That's great.
Yeah, it's what a great feeling it is to know that you make a difference.
Yeah.
And you certainly do.
Thanks.
All right, what does the future look like for you? What are your plans, your goals? Tell me what's going on. I know you got stuff brewing. I don't even have to ask you to know it, because we have not prepped this, right?
I know.
At all.
I'm just kind of riding this ride. I really, I'm shocked it's really even where it is right now. So I'm riding the ride. I'm trying to enjoy. I am enjoying the fact that I have kind of grown my business. I said yes to teaching almost every single job for a little over a year. And that was 2 years ago. And, that was a lot of evenings away from my family and from my, my kids, which, I needed to do. I wanted to grow my business. And so I am now this semester, if you will, I'm enjoying my hard work, where it's okay to pick and choose groups. It's, if I don't do a Thursday 7:00 group, I might not, but I have a wonderful teacher on my team who can. So I'm enjoying that as kind of a business point of view. I've got some things brewing that I can't quite share with the Mah Jong Line that I'm excited about. So stay tuned for that. And then I'm going to be helping a luncheon tournament in December, which will be raising money for a really sweet school here in Dallas. So I love using my time to raise money for organizations, which, as we know, mahjong can do. It's a great way to raise money and for me to give back to the community with my time.
Oh, that is super. Well, I can't wait to just keep seeing what you're doing and keep it going on, Molly, because I'm just really impressed. And, I think we connected pretty early on in your journey. And again, blown away how quickly you exploded. Really so amazing.
Thank you.
All right, so it's time to open it up to Q&A, and I am going to go ahead and take myself off of the spotlight and make you center screen. Oh, there you are. All righty. All right, perfect. Let me just do this here. All right, There we go. And I'm going to check out Zoom and see if there are questions. So we have a question from Kim. Kim says, how did you go about making contacts with the corporate world? Good question, Kim.
Very good question. It happened a few ways. One of the very first ways I remember is a woman was at a lesson with neighborhood friends. She also is a big realtor, residential real estate agent in Dallas. And at the end of the lesson, she said, do you ever do like a corporate thing? And I was like, well, I mean, it's not really a big difference. You know, what are we talking about? And so she has a team of men and women who sell houses under her name. And so they all got together, and it was a really fun, call it team building vibe that we did. And then, just, I have really great friends who are very, very smart women. A lot of the women in my kids' classes are incredible lawyers, and just they have helped spread my name. It's a lot of word of mouth. And then I thought, well, why don't I advertise that on Instagram? And so I did an Instagram square that said corporate event, and it was like, I want this, I want this, I want this. So that is where how Instagram can kind
That's
of
where it started.
Well, I mean, usually when I say something on Instagram that I'm doing, for example, 2 weeks ago, I was the keynote speaker for the junior league in Dallas, the Sustainers here. I was their speaker. And so I thought, this is something I'd like to do. I enjoyed doing their speaking event. And so then on Instagram, I said, hey, I'm look at this new role I'm trying on, reach out if this interests you. And I had a lot of interest. So that's kind of how it works.
It's amazing. You do one thing and then there it goes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Just like it's like, I have to put the idea in people's heads. It's like, not because they can't get there themselves, but if I say, hey, like, do you need a teacher? Like last year around Christmas time, I said, do you need a teacher gift for your kids' teachers? And I printed out these little gift cards. I said, give them the gift of a lesson with me. And all these moms were like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm going to do that. So it's just kind of giving those ideas out.
All right. How do you find the time? That's my question. I have a question. Stopping. How do you find the time? You're a wife, a mother of 3. You're running a busy business. How do you fit it all in, Molly?
I kind of have one speed. I kind of go. And, at heart, I'm actually an introvert. I really like alone time and quiet time. So I think finding the time, my kids are now all in school. And so I try to be a master of my time, meaning if I have an hour, why not create enough content for Instagram, the graphics for the next couple of weeks. I was traveling and I had my laptop and I love all those graphics. I use a graphic program and I made like 8 slides. So now they're just ready. And so I try to do that. I have a very supportive husband who dreams very big with me, with Mah Jong Line. He's always supported it. And so he loves taking the kids to do stuff if I need to do a little bit of work. So I try the work-life balance. It's something new for me, but I don't know. I wish there was more time in the day because I do love it and I love doing it. So that helps.
I think you're preaching to the choir here. I do have to say, and having a supportive partner, which I do as well, is so important because I don't think that we could get what we needed to get done if we didn't have that. Mm-hmm. So I'm just so happy to hear that. Now, Lisa, she raised her hand. Lisa, you can unmute for your question.
Well, my question, unfortunately, I came in a little late because my husband was messing with my computer and I didn't know it.
Well, you can watch back the replay, Lisa.
Yes, I know. But I wanted to ask her prior to this, Mother, was this the business that you thought you would go into? I mean, was this anywhere in your background prior to this? I mean, just how did it just say, this is going to gel? This is going to gel for me.
Right. Well, so my undergraduate degree is in early education. And then I have my master's in education and I taught. I mean, my whole childhood was me teaching to my stuffed animals, whatever it was. I had a marker board in my
I
room,
love that.
and just dolls and stuffed animals is all I really wanted to do, was teach, basically be bossy. So I'm just kind of, how can I be bossy? So after I had my first daughter, I decided not to go back to the elementary classroom. And I tutored. This was not on my radar, no, to be a mahjong teacher, but I enjoy teaching. So it's been nice to take two things I love, and teaching and mahjong, and putting them together.
Great. Well, I think that definitely answered your question. Thank you so much for that. All right, let me catch up here. I have a few people on YouTube who have already headed over to your Instagram page and subscribed.
Oh, thanks.
So let's see. Linda is following you now, and Moxie99 is the YouTube name there, is also following you now. So super.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. We've got another question here. This is from Margaret. Are there any mahjong tournaments that you would recommend attending?
I think that's a great question. The company that I attended was Destination Mahjong. I had a lovely time. I would say kind of, there's a few big names out there, and I'm sure Debbie actually probably can help me. Mahjong
Fever and Destination are the two biggest ones that hold large events around the country.
So I think those are kind of like the big mamas that they know what they're doing. So it feels kind of like a well-oiled machine. And it's funny, I'll look at pictures of the tournaments, and it's a few of the same people, just kind of always competing and seeing friends. And then I'm not, based on your city, like in Dallas, there's a few local ones that have been going on for a while that I've tried out that help different foundations. But I would start with those two, Mahjong Fever and Destination Mahjong, and kind of see what comes up.
Yeah, and then if you want a smaller scale mahjong, then you just need to connect with your community in your local area, because they're always going around, either synagogues or JCCs, things like that are going to have a lot of good connections for you to get started.
Yes.
But yeah, you got to get started, get your feet wet with those tournaments.
That's right.
All right, let's see. Shirley says, hi, Molly. I love the fact that you have taught your 10-year-old daughter. My 9-year-old granddaughter loves to play. My question is, when you had your first tournament, how many people attended?
Oh, the one that I hosted. Well, first of all, hi, Shirley. I'm glad your daughter plays as well. It's fun. My first tournament, I think, was 48 people. I think we squeezed 12 tables in. Yeah.
That's a nice size too.
Yeah. It felt doable to me. And, we had a great time. I think, I now feel like, yes, I could do more, but I mean, it's a lot of work. It's fun, but people ask me in Dallas, they'll say, will you do another tournament? Will you put on another tournament? And I say, yes, but just not right now, but yes, I will.
Oh, great. And she also asked if your husband plays, and I don't know if we discussed that before the show started or during the show.
I think it was before. He does play, and it has been very fun having couples over, and we like to play, have dinner, and then play some more. And during COVID, he was nice enough to play 2-player with me, and he enjoys it. And we live in Dallas, where we have really weird weather, and we had ice and blackouts this past winter, and we lit candles and little battery lights and played mahjong around the table. So thank goodness he plays. And my 3 children, my 10-year-old, my 8-year-old, and my 5-year-old, they all play.
Phenomenal. That is so phenomenal. Yeah, I think everybody needs to teach their grandkids and their kids how to play. One of the things before there are a couple more questions, but one of the things I wanted to ask you is, do you see a big trend with a lot of younger people learning the game? And do you
Yes.
think that like the Mah Jong Line and, Kate and Annie are instrumental in that happening as well? Because
Yes.
the reason, and I just want to get one more thought out. When I was in my 20s and I learned just through osmosis pretty much by watching my mom, she was to me at that time old, and I've now joined those ranks. But I learned then and taught my friends to play, and we were only in our 20s, right? And we all had young kids and everything, so we had to play when they were napping or play at night. So it seems like it was either really young then that were learning, just from a few people who wanted or were interested in learning. And then there was this huge gap in between of 30s and 40s and 50s that really weren't playing that much. And then 60s and above, everybody was playing.
Mhm.
I
Yep.
do see a big change today, and it growing to being played by all ages.
Mhm. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Like the history book shows us that mahjong's going like this, all the way back to, 1500s, 1600s, where sometimes it was banned, not allowed in China, to, 1920, Joseph Babcock, 1937, we're going like this. We are right now. Yes. In a peak for sure. It's incredible. I think the Mah Jong Line, they created a niche for really fun, fresh tiles. I think that is really it. I think, a little bit of COVID coming in, forcing us to be home playing games, but no, I give props to Kate and Annie. They created gorgeous tiles, gorgeous accessories, fun, playful marketing. Marketing's huge with my generation, with all generations, the bright, the wonderful website, their wonderful Instagram. And so they tapped into something and they kind of opened the door, and then, everything's kind of flooding in. But yes, I think they contributed vastly to
Yeah,
the uptick for sure.
definitely. And there are so many beautiful tiles out there. I mean, I just I love them all. And I would love to have a collection of all of them one day.
Yes.
One day.
And Mah Jong Line tiles are so beautiful, but I have seen many companies with beautiful tiles too, for sure. And so I don't want to, I'm not dimming their light either. There's so many beautiful things out there. However, to the question point of the younger generation, I think that is the Mah Jong Line, kind of doing that work.
Yeah, that's excellent. Excellent. Okay, let's see. Moxie asked from YouTube, where do you hold your tournaments? In your home?
Well, there's a place in Dallas. It's called The Slate. My friend owns it. It's a brilliant idea. She and her sister bought a kind of almost like a warehouse, big space that is, it's like a chameleon. It can be whatever you want. You can rent a little room and it can be your office if you're a business owner. What I did is I rented the big room and we just filled it up with tables and chairs. And so that's where I hosted mine. I've called around, to some hotels, and it's pricey to rent it out, but my friends at The Slate helped me carry out that dream.
That is great. Yeah, I fortunately have a nice venue locally as well.
Yeah.
That's a little more affordable. The hotels, it's crazy.
I know.
We can't charge our mahjong players the fees,
Right.
to substantiate that. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Moxie says, seems older folks have been target audience. Would be great to get younger generation involved, get them off their phones and socialize.
I hear you. Yes. Yes. I think I'd like to say that that's what this is doing. I when I teach, I don't say put your phones away, but that's definitely the energy I try to put out there. It's not a game where you can be scrolling. And that's that. I mean, any kind of game with my kids, like I love to play. And I think, yeah, I agree with you. I do.
Yeah, definitely a good way to get the kids off of their, oh my God, they're just glued to it. Ah, what a different world we live in. But I think in general, kids do like to be able to interact.
Yeah.
Give them something fun to do, and you can
Yes.
get them away from technology.
Yes.
For sure. Yeah. Let's see. Kim had made a comment. She just said she is retired. She loves mahjong so much. She runs groups as well and is very involved with it. I'm adding that on to her, what she said. But she said she has a hard time not giving away too much of her time.
Yes.
She does a lot, but it's out of the love for mahjong. I think we all do that a bit, right?
Yes. Yes. And I mean, and I'm also, I love the game, but I've also I've made teaching the game into a business too. So, I have to be so careful with my time as a mom of, 3 young kids. I would love to just teach everybody and travel everywhere, but my time is precious. And so I try to be really careful with that. And I've structured it to where, everybody can learn, but there's only one of me. There's only one of me that can do it. So it's hard.
Yeah, you just, can stretch yourself so far.
Yes.
And let's see if there are any other questions. I think I might have already said this, I'm not sure or not, but Linda said, I love your enthusiasm and excitement about what you are doing. Did I already read that comment? I don't think I did.
If you did, I enjoyed hearing it again. It made me feel good. So thank you.
Holly says, I'm 33 and recently started playing. Our group loves it. What's
Good.
there to love?
I know. Good. That's awesome. And keep playing. That's what I tell people. And I say, your first, however many games, play to learn, and then the winning will come. Some players just, they learn and they want to win right away. And I say, just play to learn. And then the winning will come once you're comfortable with a lot of the rules and the ins and outs. But I'm glad you're playing.
Yeah. Oh, that's so super. All right. Well, I think that is it. Any last minute questions here? We're going to be wrapping it up in just a minute. We've got somebody that just joined us and we're at the end of the show, but this will be available for replay on my YouTube channel. That's Mahjong, MAHJCON. You can head over there. I'll put the link to Molly's website in there and any other contact information so that you can get on the pre-order, and also her Instagram link. I'll have everything there for you so you can follow Molly. Lots of fun to keep an eye on her, I'm telling you. I'm like, oh, another post I get to watch. And sometimes I just smile. Really.
Thanks.
Yeah. Fun posts. Like you said, you're making mahjong a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And even though it's a very serious game, which it is, we've got to keep it light and friendly and have fun with it.
Yes.
Because it is a game and games are supposed to be fun.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. I don't like any nasties at my events.
Yeah.
They don't get invited back.
Yeah.
All right, I think that is going to wrap it up for tonight. Oh, wait a minute. I have one more question that came in.
Okay.
Lisa said, well, it's not really a question, a comment. Lisa said, I had to wait to retire to teach, but I'm loving it too.
Oh, good. Yeah. Good. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like you said, you mentioned a little bit earlier, you said there's a lot, enough mahjong to go around. Yeah. There's enough people out there, that we can all be very supportive of one another. Not one person cannot teach the entire country how to play mahjong. We need to spread this love of mahjong.
Exactly.
Yeah, and be supportive of one another. Okay. Let's see. And Linda said, thanks. That was great. And Moxie said, thank you, girls. And so I think this was a great show, Molly. Thank you so much for being a part of Expert Connect tonight. I wish you nothing but the best. And I know we're going to be in touch and hopefully continue some great connections.
Thank you for having me, Debbie. This has just been so kind and welcoming. Thank you for
Oh,
having me.
you're so welcome. And we'll be chatting soon, and stay tuned for the replay. It should be up sometime tomorrow. All right, everybody. Good night. Thank you all so much for joining in. Make sure that if you're new to the game, practice. And your son said, or one of your kids said, good job, mommy, from downstairs.
Ah, thanks.
Isn't that cute? All right. Good night, everybody. Be well. Bye-bye.
Bye.